Okay, so my name's Kurtis. I'm a very dear friend of Andy's. I've known him for quite a long time. And I wanted to say a few words. I sat down to write a little toast and turned into more than a few words, but I promise it's going to be very entertaining. You'll love it. All right, so I'm going to talk about the first time that Andy tried to kill me. With love.
There we go.
With love.
A decade ago, I spent a needlessly lonely Christmas in North Carolina. I was going through a difficult life event that had me struggling to stay connected with people, even my loved ones. We'll go on a trip, he said on the phone. So he picked me up at the airport after I flew back to Colorado, and we drove north to South Dakota. Pretty much spur of the moment. We would seek adventure, and the road would provide. I love to tell this story, but this is just a toast, and I won't try everyone's patience with all the details. Let us speed past the arcane symbols we found on the ceiling of a Rapid City hotel. We don't have the hour that Andy and I spent tracking a bobcat around the base of Devil's Tower, which we never found, and really I have to admit it was Andy that was tracking the bobcat. I was just kind of following along. And I'll offer only the barest sketch of how we sat in an indoor hot tub at a Deadwood hotel and watched a blizzard through a plate glass window until gradually we noticed human hand and torso prints forming in the steam on the glass where someone had been pressed up against it. In polite company, I won't speculate about what the people who had left those prints might have been up to, but I don't think we stayed in the hot tub much after that. No, the important part is my impending doom and Andy's hand in it. So one afternoon we went snowshoeing around a frozen lake. As we trudged through the gray, we heard a strange sound that seemed to come from all around, though it was faint enough that each of us thought he was imagining it at first. It slowly dawned on us that it was the sound of shifting ice. We should walk on it, said Andy. This was the opposite of what I was thinking. Come on, you have to do something that might kill you at least once a year. Now, I'm a cautious guy, so I wasn't about to go walking across an icy lake that I could actually hear bending and straining. But as I'm sure many of you know, Andy is a persuasive guy when he wants something. So I soon found myself compromising. We could walk back on the ice, but just along the edge. We ventured onto the ice, and from just along the edge, we saw an ice fisherman out in the middle of the lake. Fast forward to Andy chatting about ice fishing equipment he's never used with a person whom he's never met, as it dawns on me that somehow I've compromised my way pretty far in from just along the edge. But as I've said before, Andy's a persuasive guy. He must have sensed my uneasiness because he asked his new buddy, "Hey, so you think it's safe enough that we could walk all the way across?" Suddenly a pickup truck tore across the middle of the icy lake. The fisherman looks up from his gadgets, blinks his eyes twice, says, "I don't know. What do you think?" Now we're winding towards the moment of crisis. Obviously, at this point, we had no option but to head out across the flat white surface of the ice. The snow was picking up, but we strode on, dazzled by the swirling flakes, past where the truck had rumbled along and to the opposite shore. It was on the way back that we suddenly heard a horrific cracking sound directly underfoot. I sensed Andy preparing to react, and I realized we both knew the ice was breaking apart. I flung myself headlong away, diving across the ice. I was probably flailing my arms at the time, who knows. From somewhere in my mind had flashed a memory that you should lay across a cracking lake to distribute your weight. I don't clearly remember how much time passed or what went through my mind beyond the bone-deep certainty that here it was, the end. Don't worry, we didn't die. Remember, I said this was just the first time Andy tried to kill me. I turned and looked over my shoulder and was surprised at how far away he was. He was standing in a wide-legged stance with his arms flung out. Defiant, daring the ice to go through with it. From across the distance, we looked at each other. He started to laugh. Soon we were both cackling. We walked back through the snow across the lake to the car. Here's where it gets sentimental, and I might start crying. I apologize in advance. This trip was a gift to me, from a friend who knew that finding joy in life requires risk. You have to do something that might kill you at least once a year. Over the years, those words came back to me again and again. They have propelled me to some of the greatest experiences of my life and has served as a refrain to my most cherished memories. Andy knew better than I did that what I needed at that moment was to reconnect with the natural world, to learn once more, to find joy in not knowing what to expect from the future, to reap the satisfaction of venturing and surviving. The ice does not always crack. And the reward is joyful relief, laughter warming the still cold air, a friendly embrace, and the lifetime satisfaction of a good story. So I am glad now to be here to share this moment with him and with all of you, celebrating together as he embarks on a new adventure with all its attendant risks and rewards, and I wish him all the joys of discovery that will surely follow from it. I know too that Karen is a companion with whom Andy can gain strength and to whom he will give his deepest love. I've listened with excitement as their relationship has blossomed over the past few years, and for whatever creaks and cracks they have to contend with, for whatever sudden breakages in the ice they may have feared, they have always lent their separate strengths to overcoming adversity. Back in January of this year, in the aftermath of another difficult holiday, I came to my friends for comfort. Karen welcomed me into her home, their home, and for that I am grateful. And I feel privileged for the time she spent talking with me as a friend as I struggled with the difficulties in my life, offering perceptive observations and helpful advice. I came to know her better as a thoughtful listener, attentive, incisive, and caring. I think in Andy's version of this story of the time he tried to kill me, I overreacted in fleeing from the cracking ice. I was a weenie. He wouldn't use that word, but I've cleaned it up a little bit. But I've always been incredulous at how that damn fool could just stand there. And I am convinced that Karen will offer a fine balance to Andy, who may sometimes need to be reminded that he may not be able to will the ice from cracking. So here's my toast to risking it all for joy and love, and in the process finding life. Cheers.
You're here.